just playing a little bit more, off camera. Myself being, not a professional gamer, I really do find sometimes it's tough because I really focus on the content when I'm playing these games. I'm really hyper focused on, especially streaming, hyper focused on what's going on in OBS and everything like that, making sure the video is coming out good. A lot of the times more so than I'm focused on the game. So I did want to get a couple hours in, off camera. Back on camera now. Gonna do some trials for those that don't know. I do have the entirety of the game up on the YouTube channel. I am not a partner on Twitch, but I am a partner on YouTube, so it was just easier to do that. So I have the entire story mode if you're wanting to watch that up there. It'll be up there forever, so, or as long as YouTube's around. So how do I do this again? Trying to get to the fighting pits. More health back. Nice, nice. I think this is it right here, actually. It is. Alright. I don't remember what the order was here. Oh, man. Wrong way, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You were facing the wrong direction. Bro, we had the special. We had it. We had it. Ow, how does that happen? That is just annoying. That's crazy tracking. Let's go. Let's go. With no life left. All right. And then you just keep going. Alright, yeah, that was something I did want to try. I was curious to see what that was because that was the only one of the combat trials that they had in the game. But that being said, let's talk about the game. I thought the story was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, especially coming from an African American myself. You just don't see too many games with this sort of a direction as far as the storyline. I thought it was terrific. There was obviously a lot of care that went into this. I remember listening to the developer speak at the Game Awards and how he dedicated this game to his father. You can definitely feel, the love and care that went into the story in this game. As far as the artwork, I thought the visuals were all right. I've always kind of felt like EA has like this weird like DreamWorks almost like animation style that they go with. That's not my favorite. Not bad, but it's just not my favorite. But the visuals were good. I thought the game looked great. I am playing on Switch, so obviously there's limitations there, but the game still looked fantastic. I thought the music was absolutely phenomenal throughout, not just the actual soundtrack, but even some of the aesthetic like sounds throughout the levels I thought were great. Thought the voice acting was really, really good. Top-notch voice acting as well. The one thing that I thought was a bit underwhelming was probably the worst thing to be underwhelming in truth was kind of the gameplay. And I don't mean it was bad in any sense. It was very fun, but I wanted to play for like an hour, 2 hours off camera just to see if, because when I was playing before recording the story for the channel, I thought maybe because I was playing so fast and not taking many breaks, maybe that's what was really, kind of turning me off towards the end of the game there. And as I played more, I realized it's like, it's not so much that it's not, great. It's just not very engaging because it's not doing anything new, or anything special as far as platforming goes. As far as this type of game goes, it's just very run-of-the-mill. I found myself through a lot of points in the game saying, "Oh, we've seen this before, right? Like we've seen this before. This is in this game. That's in this game. That's in that game. That's in that game." And after a while, it's just like, what's unique to this game as far as gameplay goes, and there really wasn't much. I'd have to say from a gameplay perspective, because like if you look at like anybody who's watched my channel, obviously I'm gonna rage during pretty much anything, but platforming is gonna get my blood boiling. But if you were watching my channel and you remember playing me playing Greek Memories of Azure, there's a difference between a hard traversal section, a hard platforming section, when the gameplay is engaging, when the gameplay is fun, right? Not when it's, if it becomes a chore, then it's not so much fun. There were quite a few spots where I kind of just wanted to get to the next point in the story. And, it's definitely not what you want to be, thinking when you're playing. As far as the boss fights, I thought the bosses themselves were very cool. I thought the fights weren't, much like the gameplay, weren't very unique. Like I pretty much used the same strategies throughout the whole game, which is not a bad thing. It's just usually there's a unique gimmick to a boss fight. There really wasn't until the final, and by that time I feel like I was kind of spent a little bit. But yeah, I feel it's so weird to me because like every other category I can't praise enough really, except for just the gameplay of it, and that's just such a big deal, right? So yeah, I mean, and take what I say with a grain of salt too, right? Because I'm not I'm not a professional gamer. You know, this is not a professional opinion. This is the opinion of somebody who just plays games for fun. So, you know, certainly take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, and I brought up Greek Memories of Zor because that also is an indie title. And this is an indie title, but EA is not an indie company, you know. This has got a budget, you know. So I've seen games with less budget have much more engaging gameplay. Like for example, the part that really I know there's one part I usually don't like timed sections in platforming games because they're in all of them, you know. So it's usually like, all right, just one, maybe two, you know, then whatever. But you start getting into three, four, it's just like, okay. But in particular, there was that section after the boss before the last, where you have to run and escape the eruption, which in itself is fine. And I remember commenting while I was playing. It's up on the channel. I remember commenting while I was playing. I'm starting to get a little bit tilted. I'm like, man, like why is this in every single platforming game ever, right? Like just, oh, you won, but now it's erupting. Like it was in Greek, it's been in a ton of games that we played on the channel for sure. So I remember commenting in the video about how many other things we've seen. It was in Ori, either the first one or Will o' the Wisp, but it's in all of them. So it's just like the cliches and stuff like that are fine, but at some point you want something that's unique to the game you're playing, right? Something that makes this special, something that's like, okay, so like even if I get into the combat, right? The combat is fairly simple. You have the Sun Mask, right, with a certain move set, which is very limited. You know, a very limited combo mash set here, a launcher, and then, you know, projectiles. Same thing here. You don't have a launcher, you have a shield bash, but then you have gun, freezing projectile. And that's pretty much your extent of your moveset, which isn't like a bad amount. But see, the problem I have is here. This, to me, and take in account again, I'm not a professional, but to me, in the games that I've played, this is not very in-depth of a skill chart as far as, you know, at least I would prefer when it comes to combat. You know, there's a lot of things that I brought up throughout the playthrough. We got quite a few hours playing, but there's quite a few things I brought up. It was like, why is this not on the skill tree? Why is this not on the skill tree? And I mean, the simple answer, because it's not needed in the game, right? Because the game wasn't built around having that in-depth combat, and it's not very long. But I don't know. To me, if we're obviously, I said the gameplay was, you know, a bit mid or maybe, you know, less so, but the combat in general just leaves a lot to be desired to me personally. I have to be honest there. It's not bad in any way. Like, it is fun, but it's just, you know, if I wasn't you making content for it, I probably wouldn't have played as many hours as I did consecutively. I probably would have slowed down the pace because it just wasn't as engaging, you know? It wasn't as engaging. But yeah, outside of, man, it's so strange though, because outside of like the gameplay, I feel like everything was so top notch. Like so top notch. Even the art design, like look at where we're at right now. Like the cities, the way it's connected, everything was super dope. Hang on. Chill, bro. I'll give him a review. But yeah, everything was super dope. I almost, like, it's a pretty good sized map considering the you know, size of the game, for sure. And I love, you know, the Metroidvania effect where it's all connected, which kind of almost makes me hope this is the birth of something else, if not a sequel, something else from this developer, because there's potential with this. Not only, obviously, I told you the story is just ridiculously good, but outside of the story, just there's potential in the gameplay. Like there is a good game here. I mean, I'd almost love this more as like, I think, a 2D Metroidvania. I think I probably would have much more enjoyed this game, like if it was a more of a Metroidvania than a 3D platformer. That's my personal taste, but also I just think it would have helped a lot of the gameplay, because I don't think the gameplay was up to par for, especially combat, especially combat for a 3D, action RPG. That's just my opinion, but I played some like what was the one indie game we played? We played was it Ultra Age? I think it was called Ultra Age, and it was a short game. Didn't have much to be desired as far as design, or it was kind of like the opposite of this, where it was like not really great in too many areas, but the gameplay was quite good. It's just like I just wish. I wish either the combat was focused on more heavily, or it was a different style of game, because I think it would have easily worked better as a Metroidvania, because you wouldn't have had to worry about as many aspects to the combat as you do in a game like this. And I know I'm ranting a bit, I'm sorry, but there really was just that one, critique that it kept coming up, was it was just gameplay. Everything else was super solid, super solid. I'd be interested to see if they drop some DLC for this game, because I can't stress enough, I did enjoy playing it. Like, I had fun playing it. I just had fun doing this trial. I'll probably do some more. I've enjoyed it, but there's just a part of me that feels like it could have been more, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't know. Get in the comments if you guys played the game. Let me know what you thought. Overall, I'd probably have to give it like, my mind wants to go to like a 7, 8-ish, like high sevens. It was good. It was a solid game, and it hurts to say good and solid, because just listening to the story, it was like the amount of care that you want. You usually get these from indie games, but it was the amount of care you want in every game. Like, it was really, really well put together, as far as like the presentation and the story that was unfolding within the game. But yeah, those are my thoughts, guys. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.